is useful. And then Battle Fader, if your opponent attacks you directly, you can summon this card from your hand in defense mode and end their battle phase. That's helpful. Then Magic Hole Golem. You can halve the attack of one monster you control, and that monster can attack your opponents directly. But to be honest, I've never drawn this card before, so I'm not very familiar with this effect. I don't know if that will be useful, but it's got 2,000 defense points, which is always good. And then this card, this on your opponent's second direct attack, you can summon this card, and it gains the attack and defense of the monster your opponent attacked with first. Then Power Supplier, all the monsters, and one monster you control gains 400 attack points. Shadow Spell, one monster your opponent controls loses 700 attack and can't attack you, it's helpful. Revival Gift, you can bring back a tuna monster, helpful for synchro summoning. Lineage of Destruction, it only really works if you've got Red Dragon Archfiend on the field, but you can but it can attack again if it destroyed a defense position monster. Red Screen, your opponent can't attack you if you pay 1,000 life points. Descending Lost Star, you can bring back one synchro monster in defense mode with 0 defense points. Now you may think that that's not helpful, but when I draw that card, and Red Dragon Archfiend's in my graveyard, I would use it first of all to have Red Dragon Archfiend on the field, and secondly to be able to summon Majestic Red Dragon, because it doesn't matter how many attack points or whatever Red Dragon Archfiend has, it can still be used to summon Majestic Red Dragon. So I still use that, but that's again, if you get rid of Majestic Red Dragon, then there's no real reason to keep this. But anyway, Crimson Fire, again, if you don't have Red Dragon Archfiend, it doesn't matter, but you can stop your opponent activating a spell or trap card. Prideful Roar, you can make your monster gain 300 more attack points than your opponent's monster. Space Gate, you can put tokens on this card when each time you attack your opponent's monster attacks you, and then for every counter you have on this card, you can send this card to the graveyard. Then for every counter, you can summon a monster with less levels, with a lower level than the amount of counters on this card. Then the Synchro Deflector, when your opponent synchro summons and when your opponent wants to attack with Dragon Archfiend, then you can negate the attack and destroy that monster that attacked it. Then Tuna Capture, if your opponent synchro summons, you can steal one of their tuna monsters that they used for it. Then Changing Destiny, if your opponent attacks, you switch that monster to defense mode, and then they can choose whether they want to take damage or you gain life points. Fiendish Chain, one monster on your opponent's side of the field, effects are negated and it can't attack. Then Cost Down, by discarding one card, you can lower the levels. You lower the levels of all cards in your hand by 2, helpful for summoning level 6 or 5 monsters. Then Desynchro, you can turn one synchro monster back into its 2 tuna monsters and summon them. Double Summon, you can do 2 summons in a turn, 2 normal summons. Megamorph, your monster's attack points double if you have less life points than your opponent. Mind Trust, you can tribute one monster to add 1 tuna monster from your graveyard to the field. Polymerization, to use to combine Big Piece Golem and Medium Piece Golem. Red Dragon Vase, only if we've got Red Dragon Archery, you can draw 2 cards. Resonator Call, to bring a Resonator out from your deck. Scarlet Security, Again, you have to have Red Dragon Archfiend, destroys all spell and trap cards your opponent controls. To stop defense, you can select one defense position monster your opponent controls, change to attack. Lightning Vortex destroys all monsters your opponent controls. Heavy Storm destroys all your monsters, all your opponent's spell and trap cards. Mystical Space Typhoon destroys one of your opponent's spell and trap cards. Space Goat, you get to have 4 sheep tokens, helpful for tribute summoning, synchro summoning, all summoning. Smashing Ground, you can destroy the monster your opponent controls for the most defense points. Swords of Revealing Light, your opponent can't attack you for 3 turns, and again Lightning Vortex. Then on the synchro side, you've got Thought Rule or Archfiend. You need 1 tuner, one or more non-tuners. Yeah, so that's a strong card. Then Multiple Piece Golem. Its effect is pretty much you can just destroy this card, then summon back Big Piece Golem and Medium Piece Golem. Then Scrap Archfiend, 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner, helpful. Chaos King Archfiend, obviously the 1 Fiend tuner doesn't really matter because I think all the tuners, well, most of the tuners here are Fiend anyway. Then Archfiend Zombie Skull. I don't know why that's in my deck. I'm just going to get rid of it now. Anyway, next. Exploding Dragon Wing. 1 tuner plus 1 dragon type non-tuner monsters. I'm not sure if I have a dragon type monster which isn't a tuner. Well, yes I do. Never mind. Strong card. Then of course Red Dragon Archfiend. When it destroys a defense position monster, all your opponent's defense position monsters are destroyed. And obviously most of these trap cards can only be used if you've got Red Dragon Archfiend on the field. And then Majestic Red Dragon, an incredible card, 4,000 attack points, 3,000 defense points. It can't be destroyed by card effects. And you can destroy all defense position monsters on the field when this card attacks. And you can negate the effects of 1 monster your opponent controls. And then this card gains the attack equal to the negated monster's attack until the end phase. During the end, and then you can summon run Red Dragon Archfiend from your graveyard. So Majestic Red Dragon is absolutely incredible card if you can ever summon it. Then Red Nova Dragon, again incredible card, gains 500 attack points. It's for all tuner monsters in your graveyard. And that's the Red Dragon Archfiend power deck. Goodbye.